Follow along as I read Text 1, Extreme Insects, Killer Bees and Fire Ants, to you. Killer bees and fire ants have both earned reputations for being insects that swarm and sting in ways that harm people. People fear both kinds of insects. Although they are similar in these ways, they are also different in some important ways. Attack! Fire ants and killer bees are similar because they both defend their nests in aggressive ways. If someone steps on a fire ant mound, a swarm of ants will charge towards that person, stinging the person many times. Getting stung by a fire ant can feel like being burned. Killer bees are also called the Africanized honeybee. These bees are called killer bees because of how aggressive they are when defending their nest. When someone bothers the nest of killer bees, thousands of bees can zoom out to attack. One man was mowing a lawn and accidentally disturbed a nest of killer bees. 800,000 bees swarmed out. The man died of a heart attack after bees covered his entire face and neck. Killer bees have been known to chase people for a quarter of a mile. Even after a person jumps into water to get away from the bees, killer bees continue attacking. Away from home. These insects are also similar because both of them now live in places that are far from their original homes. Most fire ants originally lived in South America. That was their home. But somehow they traveled to many different parts of the world, including parts of the southern United States and California. Some bees that were originally from Africa got together with local bees from Brazil and made killer bee colonies. Now these bees, like fire ants, are spreading to lots of places. They now live in some parts of the southern United States. Not all stinging insects are the same. Although fire ants and killer bees are similar in some ways, they are different in other ways. For one thing, one fire ant can sting over and over. Killer bees, however, can only sting once. After stinging an enemy, the killer bee stinger becomes stuck inside the enemy, and when the bee tries to pull away, it dies. Fire ants and killer bees are also different because of how they deal with the environment. If the weather becomes too cold or too hot, cold-blooded fire ants can dig deep down into the soil. Fire ants have been known to survive in temperatures as cold as 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Fire ants can also survive floods by building rafts out of their own bodies. Each ant joins with other ants and they form a kind of boat so that they can sail safely. Some of these rafts can include more than 100,000 ants. The ants put their queen right in the center of the raft where she'll be safe. They put their babies at the bottom because they are more buoyant, which means they can float better. Killer bees, on the other hand, cannot survive extreme weather conditions. They fly great distances to find warmer weather. If there is a drought, instead of staying in the area and finding a way to adapt to the drought, they leave and look for new homes. Unfair reputation. Even though fire ants and killer bees, or Africanized honeybees, have a bad reputation, the chance of a person being killed by either of these insects are small. Only about 1% of people experience a deadly allergic reaction to stings by fire ants or killer bees. And when these insects sting, they are only defending themselves. Dr. May Berenbaum, a professor who studies killer bees, says that they sting only defensively. They don't try to kill. Despite the scary names of these insects, people are not apt to be killed by killer bees or fire ants. Fire ants and killer bees may be extreme insects, but they are not out to get people.